Today, I am going to tell you the unbelievable story of the biggest lottery scam in the world. A story so shocking that very few people have ever heard about it or truly understood it. This incident is often called the biggest lottery scam in American history. On the evening of December 28, 2010, millions of people were watching live as the lottery jackpot numbers were announced on television. To everyone's shock, every single number matched one lottery ticket. The prize money was $4 million. But the most surprising part was yet to come. Months passed, but no one came forward to claim the jackpot. This left the lottery company completely confused. They couldn't understand how someone could abandon such a massive amount of money. At first, they assumed that maybe the winner had not watched the draw on TV, or perhaps the winner had died. However, when the real reason behind this delay slowly started to surface, it shocked not only the lottery company but also the American police. According to the lottery rules, the prize had to be claimed within 1 year. Otherwise, the jackpot would be cancelled permanently. Almost 11 months had already passed, and still, no one had claimed the prize. Lottery officials were now simply waiting for the 1-year deadline to pass so that the jackpot could officially be cancelled. Then something happened that shook the entire lottery world. Just 10 days before the deadline, the lottery company made a public announcement on news channels, stating that the jackpot would be cancelled if it wasn't claimed within 10 days. After this announcement, the lottery office phones started ringing non-stop. On the other side of these calls were people falsely claiming to be the winner. But there was one major problem. When these callers were asked about the ticket serial number, none of them could provide the correct number. Seeing the increasing number of false claims, the lottery company decided to seek help from the police. The company already knew which store the winning ticket was purchased from, but they had no idea who bought it because the store did not have CCTV footage available at that time. The police took over the investigation and first visited the store where the ticket was sold. They spent hours reviewing surveillance footage. After several hours of investigation, the police found a video that made the situation even more complicated. In the footage, there was a man wearing black clothes, with his head covered by a black hoodie. His face was completely hidden. This was the same man who had purchased the winning lottery ticket. It was clear that he knew cameras were installed, and he had intentionally hidden his identity. Now the biggest question for the police was, who was this man, and why was he hiding his identity? At this point, the case was no longer just about an unclaimed lottery ticket. It had turned into a mysterious puzzle, growing more complicated with each passing day. The police were no longer just searching for a lottery winner. They were trying to uncover the truth behind a deeply suspicious case. Only 1 week remained before the ticket would be officially cancelled, and then, the phone rang again at the lottery office. On the other side of the line was a man who introduced himself as Philip Johnston, a lawyer from Canada. With confidence in his voice, Philip told the lottery officer that he was the winner and wanted to claim the jackpot. Because of the many false claims, the lottery officer asked Philip for the ticket serial number. To everyone's shock, Philip provided the exact serial number, and it perfectly matched the lottery records. For a moment, it seemed like the mystery was finally solved, but when the officer started asking further questions to verify Philip's identity, new doubts began to appear. The officer asked Philip what clothes he was wearing on the day he purchased the ticket. There was silence on the phone for a few seconds, then Philip answered. As soon as the officer heard his response, he realized something was wrong. The clothes Philip described did not match the clothes seen in the CCTV footage. The officer continued questioning him more deeply. Philip started to panic. His voice began to shake, and suddenly, the call was disconnected. This raised even more questions. Was Philip Johnston really the winner, or was he just another fraud trying to steal the jackpot? The most confusing part was this. Philip had provided the correct serial number, but lied about the clothes. Now the police finally had a name, Philip Johnston. And with that, the investigation took a darker turn. After Philip Johnston's suspicious phone call, both the lottery company and the police became extremely cautious. Philip Johnston was no longer just another caller. He was now a person of interest. Just a few days later, the lottery office phone rang again. Once again, it was Philip Johnston, but this time, his story had completely changed. Philip admitted that he had lied earlier. He now claimed that he was not the owner of the lottery ticket. Instead, he said the real winner was one of his clients, who did not want to reveal his identity. Philip explained that his client wanted him to collect the money on his behalf and transfer the jackpot directly into the client's bank account. But the lottery company had strict rules. Only the actual ticket owner could claim the prize in person. The lottery officials clearly told Philip that no lawyer or third party could collect the jackpot. Hearing this, Philip became frustrated once again, and just like before, he hung up the phone. This behavior made the situation even more suspicious. The lottery officials couldn't understand one thing. Why would someone hide their identity so desperately, even if it meant risking $4 million? Meanwhile, the police had officially started investigating Philip Johnston, and soon, something shocking came to light. Just days before the final deadline, a team of lawyers suddenly arrived at the lottery office. This time, they weren't representing an individual. They were representing a company. According to the lawyers, the winning lottery ticket belonged to a company whose headquarters were registered in Belize. Belize is a place known for offshore companies and tax benefits. The lawyers demanded that the jackpot be handed over to the company they represented. Once again, the lottery officials were confused. Who was the real winner? An individual, a lawyer, or now, a company? The lottery company refused yet again. They repeated the same rule. Only the ticket owner could personally claim the prize. The lawyers had no choice but to leave. After this incident, the lottery officials immediately informed the police. The police began investigating the Belize-based company. What they discovered shocked everyone. The company was real. It was legally registered in Belize. But the most disturbing detail was this: Philip Johnston's name was directly connected to that company. The same Canadian lawyer had now appeared in the case for the third time. At this point, the police were convinced that Philip Johnston was deeply involved in something far bigger than a simple lottery claim. The police tracked Philip's location and took him into custody for questioning. During interrogation, Philip finally broke. He told the police that the lottery ticket had been given to him by two men. Their names were Robert Sunfield and Robert Rhodes. According to Philip, these two men were the real masterminds who were trying to claim the jackpot through different people to hide their identities. This revelation changed the direction of the investigation completely. The police immediately tracked down Robert Sunfield and Robert Rhodes and brought them in for questioning. But what happened next left the police stunned. Both men denied everything. They claimed they had nothing to do with the lottery ticket and had never asked anyone to claim the jackpot on their behalf. Even worse, the police had no solid evidence against them. After hours of interrogation, the police were forced to release both men, and just like that, the case was officially closed. The unclaimed lottery jackpot was cancelled, but the mystery did not end there. Even after the case was closed, the lottery company was still haunted by unanswered questions. What role did Robert Sunfield and Robert Rhodes really play? Was Philip Johnston telling the truth? And most importantly, why would someone go to such extreme lengths just to hide their identity? One police officer, however, refused to let the case die. Unofficially, he continued investigating the mystery on his own. He simply could not believe that someone would walk away from $4 million without a reason. The officer was convinced that this was not just negligence or fear. This was a carefully planned scam. Determined to expose the truth, the officer made a bold move. He reopened public attention to the case. A press conference was held. During the conference, the officer played the same CCTV footage of the hooded man purchasing the lottery ticket. Then he made a public appeal. If anyone recognizes this man, please contact the police. Just a few days later, the police received a phone call. And this call would change everything. On the other end of the line was a woman who worked at one of the lottery company's branches. She told the police that she recognized the man in the CCTV footage. According to her, the man was Eddie Tipton. Eddie Tipton was not a random stranger. He worked inside the lottery company itself, and not just in any position. Eddie Tipton was the head of lottery security systems. His job was to monitor lottery draw machines, fix technical issues, and ensure that no one could manipulate the system. He was the software gatekeeper, the man responsible for protecting the lottery from fraud. This revelation completely changed the case. Now the biggest question was Eddie Tipton just an unfortunate coincidence? Or was he the mastermind behind the biggest lottery scam in history? The police had finally found the man they had been searching for, but proving his guilt would be far more difficult than finding his name. After Eddie Tipton's name surfaced, the police finally had a real suspect. But there was a problem. Eddie Tipton was not an ordinary employee. He was the head of security systems for the lottery company. If anyone knew how to avoid detection, it was him. The police immediately began investigating Tipton's personal and professional life. What they found only increased their suspicion. Tipton was living in Colorado, in a luxurious villa equipped with a swimming pool, a private basketball court, and expensive cars. His lifestyle simply did not match his official salary. Although Tipton earned well, it wasn't enough to support such a lavish life. This raised a serious question. Where was the extra money coming from? The lottery company had a strict rule. Employees were not allowed to play the lottery. The reason was simple. Insiders could misuse confidential information and manipulate the system. Tipton's role gave him access to the very heart of the lottery system. Yet, despite strong suspicion, the police still lacked direct evidence. The woman who identified Tipton recognized him by his voice, not his face. And voice recognition alone was not enough to arrest someone. The case began to stall again. But the police refused to give up. They needed a connection, a clear link between Tipton and the hooded man in the CCTV footage. That's when investigators turned to LinkedIn, and there, everything started to make sense. The police discovered that Robert Sunfield and Robert Rhodes were directly connected to Eddie Tipton. Even more shocking, Robert Rhodes had previously worked at Tipton's company. Now the puzzle pieces began to align. The police requested phone records. After hours of analysis, they found the evidence they needed. On the exact day the winning ticket was purchased, Eddie Tipton and Robert Rhodes were on the phone with each other for almost 1 full hour. That was the breakthrough. The police finally understood the truth. Eddie Tipton was not just involved, he was the mastermind. Based on this evidence, the police arrested Eddie Tipton, Robert Rhodes, and Robert Sunfield. It was now 2014, nearly 4 years after the jackpot was won. For the first time, the police felt they were close to exposing one of the largest scams in lottery history. The case moved to court, and this trial was unlike anything seen before. Judges, lawyers, and investigators were all fascinated. This was the first time in history that a lottery jackpot was allegedly hacked and manipulated from the inside. Everyone wanted to know, how did Eddie Tipton do it? During the trial, one of Tipton's old friends was called to testify. What he revealed shocked the courtroom. According to him, Tipton was a software genius. He loved creating computer viruses and had the technical skill to control lottery machines remotely. The witness explained that Tipton had secretly installed malicious code inside the lottery system. This code allowed him to manipulate the draw results at a specific time, without leaving a digital trail. On the day of the $4 million draw, Tipton had activated the code. The winning numbers were changed from inside the system. The court now had a clear explanation of the scam. Based on this testimony and the digital evidence, Eddie Tipton was found guilty. The judge sentenced him to 10 years in prison. But what happened next shocked everyone. Instead of panic or anger, Tipton and his lawyer smiled calmly. They showed no emotion. Even more surprising, they did not file an appeal. This strange reaction disturbed the police and the public prosecutor. It felt as if Tipton was hiding something even bigger. The investigators began to believe that the testimony alone could not explain a scam of this scale. And then, just 1 week after the sentencing, the police received another phone call. This call changed everything. The caller was a man from Texas. He said that nearly 10 years earlier, Eddie Tipton's brother had won a lottery. But the prize was claimed by a man named Alexander Hicks. Alexander died just a few days later. At first, the police feared something horrifying, that Tipton had people killed after claiming prizes. But further investigation revealed the truth. Alexander Hicks had died from cancer, not murder. Still, the call opened a new door. The public prosecutor made a bold decision. They created a list of every lottery winner in the United States over the past several years. The number reached nearly 45,000 people. A full investigation team was assigned to study every connection, every profile, and every pattern. They searched social media, phone records, and personal links. And slowly, a pattern emerged. In 2005, Tipton's brother won a $600 lottery. In 2007, Robert Rhodes won $80,000. A woman named Amy won $15,000 and had a personal relationship with Tipton. In 2011, a man named Kyle Kahn won $64,000. All of these people were connected to Eddie Tipton, and there was one chilling similarity. Every single one of them claimed their prize a year later, not immediately. The exact same pattern used in the $4 million case. The police arrested Amy for questioning. She cooperated immediately. Amy confessed that she was in a relationship with Tipton. She admitted that Tipton gave her specific numbers to play. When she won, they split the money. This confession finally confirmed the truth. Eddie Tipton had created a network. Even while he was under investigation, his system continued operating through others. Now there was only one final question left. How did Tipton always know the winning numbers in advance? The answer lay in one place: the computer he used to operate the lottery system. The police seized the machine and handed it to top forensic experts. And what they found would expose one of the greatest frauds in modern American history. When the police seized Eddie Tipton's computer, they knew one thing for sure. If the truth existed anywhere, it was inside that machine. The computer was handed over to a team of cyberforensic experts. 4 days. The experts analyzed every file, every log, and every hidden folder. And then, they found it. Deep inside the system system was a self-deleting malicious program, a custom-made piece of code, written by Eddie Tipton himself. This program was designed to remain completely invisible during normal system checks. But at a specific time and date, the code would activate. When it activated, it temporarily took control of the lottery draw system. The software would manipulate the random number generator and force pre-selected winning numbers. Once the draw was complete, the program erased itself, leaving almost no trace behind. This is why Tipton was never caught earlier. This is why the scam lasted for years. The forensic team confirmed that the same code had been used in multiple lottery draws across different states. The evidence was undeniable. Eddie Tipton had exploited the system from the inside, using his position as the head of security to destroy the very system he was meant to protect. With this discovery, the case was officially reopened. New charges were added. This time, Tipton had no escape. In court, prosecutors revealed the entire network, friends, relatives, romantic partners, all acting as fronts to claim lottery prizes on Tipton's behalf. The court concluded that Eddie Tipton had been manipulating lottery systems for nearly a decade. This was not luck. This was engineering fraud. In 2017, the final verdict was delivered. Eddie Tipton was sentenced to 25 years in prison. His accomplices also received prison sentences. Every dollar that could be recovered was confiscated. Millions were returned to the state. The lottery systems across the country were immediately redesigned. New security layers were introduced. Offline verification, independent audits, third-party oversight. The Tipton case permanently changed how lotteries operate in the United States. Today, Eddie Tipton sits behind bars. The man who once controlled the lottery from the shadows now lives under constant surveillance. This case taught the world one powerful lesson. The biggest scams don't come from outsiders. They come from the people we trust the most. A man hired to protect the system became the one who broke it, and this is why the Eddie Tipton case is remembered as the biggest lottery scam in American history.